Connor, was the Big Ten record feel like to you?
Feels pretty good, you know. Hopefully, I'm going to set it again this weekend. So, I got to keep breaking that. So, that's kind of the way I'm looking at it right now. I'm sure I'm going to look back on that with a lot more emotion once it's over. But right now, it's just another game. It's a cool thing that I'm able to go out there and just keep playing with my guys.
As you look back on your career with the Gophers, what will you always remember?
Yeah, I mean, there's a tons of things that I'll remember. I mean, biggest thing, is just moments in the locker room, and just the relationships that I built with a lot of these guys. Some of these people I've been with for 6 years, some 5, some 4, and regardless, that's a long time that I've been with some of these guys. And, we're together every day, so that's probably the biggest thing is just those bonds. I think they're going to last for a very long time.
What epitomizes Tanner's leadership?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is just his ability to connect with people and then his commitment to the game. And, I think that's the biggest thing is, there's tons of people out there that are extremely dedicated to their craft. But to a certain point, you got to be able to bring people along with you on that commitment. And that's something that Tanner's able to do really well. And, that extends beyond just the offense. That's across the board. And so I think that's really the biggest thing is, like even though he's younger than me, but, there's certainly times too when he brings me along too. And, he's a guy that, helps get me fired up and helps get me to rededicate myself every day to the game.
Do you think he sees some criticism out there, and how do you feel like he handles it if he does?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you and that probably has to do with the fact that, I can't tell. Even if he does see it, he doesn't let it affect him. He's focused on the team. He's focused on, what's best for the team. And, that's the biggest thing is, across the board, sometimes anybody, like, I've received the occasional comment, but, whatever, like I kind of wash it off. And I'm sure, that's the name of the game. It's the sport we play and people are entitled to their own opinion. And, the biggest thing is we just got to worry about the success of our own team. Tanner epitomizes that, like as the quarterback, you're bound to get more criticism, especially than like an offensive lineman, for example. But, to him, that doesn't matter. He's more focused on what's going on inside our four walls than what's going on outside.
As an offensive line, how key is communication when you're going against a Wisconsin front seven that likes to mix things up and bring people from different spots?
Yeah, so I mean, right, they like to mix things up. They do have a lot of exotics out there. The biggest thing is communication, and Wisconsin has a knack too for understanding our communication too. So it's a bit of a chess game sometimes, between us communicating and them communicating. But the biggest thing is, the beauty of offensive line play is when you're really successful is when it's 5 guys playing as one. So that's really something that we focus on, especially this week too. And, across the board, this is a group of guys that has been playing together now for 3-4 years. So, our chemistry is obviously pretty solid, and we're excited to get out there against this challenge of their front seven.
Connor, I suppose you'd probably rather be undefeated, but other than that, this final game for the Axe, you got your offensive line against one of the best defenses in the country. Would this be the way you would maybe draw up your final home game, just as far as how much is on the line and what all the atmosphere and the whole thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I grew up in Minnesota, and that's how the college football season always ends, with the Gophers playing Wisconsin. So, I'm definitely glad I get to finish it here at the bank instead of over in Camp Randall, even though that's a nice stadium too. It's nice to be home, that way my parents don't have to spend as much gas money and get a hotel. So, all in all, that's pretty awesome. But yeah, I mean, there's no different environment that I'd want to be in than here with the guys that I've been with for so long, playing for the state that I love, just being able to represent the University of Minnesota.
If you could picture yourself 10 years down the line, you're a doctor or whatever, how much of Gopher football, I guess, experience or career you think will still be kind of a part of, how you do your daily?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's going to be in there, and there's little bits and pieces, that resonate with people on different levels, and there's a handful of things that Coach Fleck has said over the years that really resonate with me, and the biggest thing is change your best. And that's kind of the biggest thing. And I've approached that, when I've been going through the medical school process, that's kind of been the big thing for me too, is I talk about that. And, that's kind of the biggest thing is, I don't ever want to allow myself to, just stay the same, because I don't really believe in staying the same. You're either getting worse or you're getting better. And so for all intents and purposes, you should definitely be aiming to get better rather than worse. So that's kind of the biggest thing. And, that's something that, is very central to who I am and what I do. But, there's other things too, especially, thankfully I've got about 17 different notebooks worth of comments that I can always pull up. We have a manual that we got, all the lessons are there, and they're all codified. So I'll have that for a long time.
You find
Find yourself doing it in your day when you get away from football and you're just at home, whatever. You ever break one of those things out and remind yourself? I mean,
You know, sometimes, you know, the beauty of living with guys that are all in the program as well, too, is, you know, I mean, we all have this common language. Coach Fleck always talks about this common language, and, you know, that's a very real thing. You know, we go home and, you know, the culture comes home with us, too. You know, we have our conversations in the same way that we would talk in the facility and we would talk with our coaches. So, you know, we don't necessarily need to refer back to our source material just because at this point it's pretty ingrained into our lexicon.
John Michael Schmidt got some praise here today. What has kind of made him one of the best at his position?
Yeah, I mean, his biggest thing is he's a relentless offensive lineman. And, you know, maybe Boye can comment on that too. But, I mean, John Michael Schmitz is a guy that you definitely love having on your side of the ball, and you love having him call the plays because you know he's going to go out there, he's going to play with violence. And that's been the way he has been since the first time he walked on campus, you know. And, you know, he has that benefit, and that hasn't waned at all. You know, sometimes you kind of lose that as you keep playing the game. But, I mean, he's a guy who's only improved his game, and he's only gotten more relentless. And he continues to get better and better every week. You know, that's not anything that ever goes away. And that's what makes him really special as an offensive lineman.
Looking back, what type of impact did Coach Callie have on every area of your life?
Yeah, you know, so Coach Callihan was a former offensive lineman, which is, you know, often the case with coaches. But, you know, the beauty of that is offensive linemen were a relatively unique room. So in that regard, you know, he often says he's not a psychologist. That's his big thing, you know, because everybody's kind of always got their own little thing going on. When you have a unit as big as the offensive line, too, you know, there's a lot of different things going on at any point. But as a whole, he's definitely influenced all of us, and he's given us a ton of memories, you know. He's convinced me, he's talking to me about coming over for Thanksgiving dinner so that we can, you know, he can influence me in that way too. But, you know, I might be passing on that just because I have the benefit of being a home guy. But, you know, he's got other guys coming over. I mean, across the board, he's been a very influential part of all of our lives, and he's somebody that's going to stick around in mine for a long time.
Are you any closer in the med school decision?
Nope, not yet. Still waiting. It's a long process, so, you know.
Any more for Connor? All right, thank you, Connor.
Thank you.